Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Premier League Preview Show on the same network, Citi TV, same old program, different year. Many thanks for being with us. And like I said, Happy New Year to everybody. May 2024 bring you massive success. Like we do every Friday, you can send in your thoughts and comments on the WhatsApp number right there on your screen, and we'll go through as many of your comments as possible. It's a very interesting time in the Premier League season. The Christmas festivities are over. We are officially into the second half of the season, and things will start getting into proper shape and proper focus between now and the end of the season. So every single game is important. Of course, this weekend, there is no Premier League. Technically, it's an FA Cup weekend, but it's a brilliant opportunity to go over what happened in December, ask ourselves a few questions, discuss some of the high points, and project into the other half of the season. Of course, we'll talk about some FA Cup bits as Arsenal and Liverpool clash in the biggest round of round 3 in the Emirates FA Cup. So a lot to discuss between now and the end of the show. So do stick and stay. Would love you to be with us till the very end. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, I introduce my guest and we start rolling. This is the Premier League Preview Show on Citi TV. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the Premier League Preview Show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan. Come on a second. Let me introduce my guest, Ayew Minta. How are you doing?
I'm doing
Happy
well,
New
Nathan.
Year.
Happy New Year, Nathan.
All right, and making his debut, he's been training with the under-21s for a while. And now he's making his full debut on the show. Kelvin Edemkai. Kelvin, how are you doing?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Looking sharp.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's get into our conversations. Typically we're talking about the fixtures, but there are no fixtures, like I said. So we'll talk about some of the most interesting parts of the 2023 calendar year in relation to the Premier League. Let's start off with some of the top performers. And from a Ghanaian perspective, Jordan Ayew, his name seems to come up there in terms of those who are making the headlines. If you look at the graphic on your screen, Jordan Ayew is somewhere in there, and you can see his number. 84 for most dribbles. Interesting. That's not too surprising. Jordan is a very interesting dribbler, but it's even more fascinating seeing that he has managed to put together the most dribbles in the first half of the season. Wow, interesting. That's for 2023. Amazing stuff there. Yeah, let me take your thoughts. And Jordan, I know he gets a lot of stick from Ghanaian fans, especially followers of the Black Stars. But he seems to be one of the first names on the Crystal Palace team sheet.
Yeah, because of what he brings to the table for Crystal Palace. They are a team that love to manage the game. And if you want a game manager, at this point in his career, Jordan Ayew is one of the best game managers. He knows when to take a foul, to just calm things down when his team is under a lot of stress. I saw this firsthand, or a lot of Ghanaians saw this firsthand in that game between Ghana and Nigeria in that World Cup playoff, where there were multiple occasions in that game, especially away from home in Abuja, where Ghana was under a lot of stress, was under a lot of duress. Then you had Jordan just pick up a ball. He motioned to some of the players, some of his teammates, that give me the ball. He would take the ball, try to dribble 1 or 2 players. They will hack him down. He would take that foul, and that would ease the pressure on the Black Stars. And that's what he tends to do a lot on many occasions for Crystal Palace. And so you look at the number of fouls that he's won across the top 5 leagues in Europe this season, so far this season, he's number 1. And you look at what it brings to the table for Crystal Palace, a team that has a lot of youngsters because of injuries, because of the lack of finances. They are relying a lot more on their younger players. And so when you have such an experienced player like Jordan Ayew doing those things to manage the game, because you can lose the game in a split second based on how you manage or mismanage a game situation. And Jordan Ayew is practically one of the best game managers out there in the Premier League. I think the reason why Ghanaians give him a lot of stake is because what he does for Crystal Palace is not necessarily what Ghana needs. It's not necessarily what Ghana needs. And what he brings to the table for Ghana, you have a lot of players who do those things. So, for instance, most fouls won. Okay, in Ghana, when he wins those fouls, who is the one who goes to take those free kicks? It's Jordan Ayew. And 8 out of 10, he blasts them all over the bar. So it's practically cost 90. And that's why he'll get a lot of stick.
All right.
Because you've won the foul. Yeah, you've done well. But at the end of the day, what did you do with the foul? And I know we're all familiar with that viral video of Jordan Ayew blazing that free kick over the bar in Kumasi. And that man shouted, hey, now Jordan, you remember that viral video? Exactly. That sums up the frustration Ghanaians have about Jordan Ayew. That, yes, what you bring to the table is good, but at the end of the day, what do you do with the thing you bring to the table? You don't do much with it. And on top of that, what you bring to the table, we already have it. So we need something more, something different from what you bring to the table. And I think that's the issue a lot of Ghanaians have with Jordan Ayew. But because of what he brings to the table for Crystal Palace, that work rate, that ability to track down runners, that ability to manage game situations, win fouls, and come up in clutch moments, in critical moments, and deliver across all a goal. Those are the things he brings to Crystal Palace, and they love him for it because those things are what they need. But when it comes to Ghana, what he brings to the table, we don't really need it.
Okay.
We need goals.
You need something else.
We need goals. We need a guy who is a ball juggler. And that's why Kudus is so highly acclaimed. And a lot of Ghanaians love Kudus because what he brings to the table, practically no other player in the Black Stars brings to the table.
Okay.
Ball juggling.
All right. And then let me get your thoughts. If there were any metric Jordan Ayew would lead, did you think it would be that?
Oh, no, I'm not surprised he's leading that metric. Jordan is technically gifted. He has the ability to beat people, and he proves it every time he takes the stage for Ghana or Crystal Palace. For Crystal Palace, he's the type of player that his coaches trust because of what Yao said. He brings a lot to their game. Crystal Palace is a team that manages games a lot. They play in transitions. They wait for their moments in games and play in phases. So Jordan helps with that. Jordan can take the ball, take the steam off them when they're under pressure. He can win a foul. Jordan knows when to track back and help his fullback out. So tactically, he'll be a coach's dream. Any coach will want to have him in a team because he has that off-the-ball work rate. And this season, he's been doing well for them with assists. He has, I think, about 5 assists.
He has 5 assists.
Yeah, so this season, he's even becoming more important, like, on both ends of the field. So I'm not surprised he's up
just
here.
to add to that tactical bit, we all remember John Mikel Obi.
Yeah.
Like, at the time where Chelsea kept on firing coaches at the rate of every 6 months, coaches will come in different philosophy, different mindset, different personality. Mikel was a constant in all of that, and people kept wondering, why is this guy always in the plans of coaches? Why is he always in the first team? Why is he always starting? But you watch him, and yeah, a lot of fans give him a lot of stick. It's practically down to tactical discipline because when he is disciplined, it allows for the game plan of the coach to work.
All right.
And that's what Jordan Ayew does for Crystal Palace.
Okay, Jordan, we pray that 2024 will be a better year for him. Let's move on to talk about Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah, the Egyptian king who reigns supreme in Liverpool, doing amazing things there. And he has been scoring 20-plus goals for a while. So in the last 7 straight seasons, he scored 20-plus goals for Liverpool. And that is crazy stuff. That's about like 140 plus goals, right?
Those are elite numbers.
He has 150. So
150 Premier League goals. So those are,
numbers.
I mean, and then when you cast your mind back when Liverpool signed Mohamed Salah, did you think he would become this kind of player?
I didn't. I'm one of the people who didn't believe in the Salah brilliance. From the beginning, he did it in the first season. I was like, okay, can he do it? And I remember having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, if he can do it for about 3 seasons, then I will really trust in him. And he's proven us right. Season in, season out, when Liverpool need a goal, important goals, dying minutes, penalties, he's been the guy for them. He comes up with brilliance when they need it. And this season, he's really been carrying their team because a lot of the attackers are not really at their best. And he's been holding the fort. When Liverpool need a goal this season, he's been there. So I'm somebody who didn't believe that he could do this first, but I'm happy he's done it because it's a plus for Africa too. It's nice to see African players enter the Premier League and bosses. I
mean, he's in very esteemed company. He's joined the likes of Thierry Henry, who did it 99 to 2006, and then Harry Kane, who did it from about 2015 to about 2022.
Yeah.
Before leaving, that's amazing.
Yeah. And you look at those two strikers that you mentioned.
And these guys are out and out forwards. I mean,
Out and-
you can argue and say Thierry Henry was a bit of a winger
Henry
type.
is just like
Salah.
Salah himself.
Yeah, Henry is just like Salah, and that's
On the other side.
on the other side,
Yeah,
and
Salah.
that's how come I rate him so highly, because he was way ahead of his time. I mean, back in the day, it was all about guys like Harry Kane, and Henry was that kind of wing forward who was able to break through, score a lot of
Because
goals.
in his time, he had the likes of Calvin Phillips,
Phillips.
Ruud van Nistelrooy, Teddy Sheringham.
Yes.
I mean, the guys were out and out
Cole,
scorers,
those guys,
and Cole were scorers.
Dwight York and those guys. And so for him to do it ahead of his time, that shows how unique he is. And it also shows how Harry Kane is unique, because he is doing it in a time where the emphasis was on wing forwards. And so to have Salah in the mix, I think it's a perfect balance of a throwback and the modern type of ways of scoring goals. And honestly, if he continues like this for maybe 2 seasons before leaving for, I suspect, Saudi Arabia, I would give, if he can win another Premier League title, I'll put him ahead of Yaya Toure. For me, Yaya Toure is the greatest African player to play in the Premier League because of the impact that he had on Manchester City. Manchester City team, yeah, they had a couple of buys in there with the injection of money, but it took Yaya Toure it took a guy like Yaya Toure to be able to make it to that next level and get them to let them be a team that has arrived.
What about, because I would make a counter argument and mention Aguero and say that I think Aguero took City from one point to the other, not necessarily because he scored a goal that sealed the Premier League title, but his goals over time let them. But I kind of get the argument
but
you're making.
Before Aguero, before that legendary goal by Aguero, there was that FA Cup run by Manchester City, and it was fronted by Yaya Toure.
Okay, fair point.
He was the one who got them to
win that FA Cup.
To breach that screen. Once they got beyond that hurdle, then it was clear that this team had arrived and they were going places. And so for me, that impact, I'll give it to Yaya Toure, but no slouching on Mohamed Salah. I didn't expect this number of goals. I expected him to create and score a handful of goals, 10, 12 goals per season. I didn't expect 20 plus.
20.
I didn't expect 20 plus.
And he's doing 20 consistently.
Yeah,
he's been
in the
brilliant.
last 7
years. I didn't expect
seasons.
20 plus consistently for 7 straight years. No.
And just finally on Mo Salah, the end eventually comes, and there will come a time where he either leaves or retires. If you are Liverpool, how do Liverpool plan for life after Mo Salah? Because somebody has to score those goals to make up for whatever he takes away, whether he goes to Saudi Arabia or goes wherever it is he wants to go.
There's no planning for players of that quality. When you lose players like that, you just have to make sure your scouting is on point and you get a player who can come and do it to a certain level, because there are very few players who hit that level Salah has hit. Like, I can throw that to Barcelona. Losing a player like Messi, you can't really replace. What Salah has been doing for Liverpool for the past few seasons, you can't replace it. So they will have to get somebody who can come in and just hold the fort for them. Or for something people like Spurs did. Spurs brought in Maddison and it's kind of compensated for the loss of Harry Kane. If Liverpool can do something like that, I think it's work out for them.
All right, we'll see what will happen to Liverpool as they think about Mo Salah. But Mo Salah's numbers are absolutely incredible. 150 or 151 Premier League goals for Liverpool. Just add the numbers he scored in other competitions and you start feeling dizzy at the numbers. Let's talk about the goal king race. It's quite interesting in England. The 3 gentlemen who are leading the line: Erling Haaland, no surprises there. Mohamed Salah, no surprises there. The third name is the one that has surprised a lot of people. Dominic Solanke. Nobody thought he would be here, but over time, Solanke has learned how to be a good finisher, and he's leading Bournemouth probably to big things. We don't know how well they will do, but let's talk about Dominic Solanke. The other 2 we kind of know, but how did we get here? Because Solanke seems to have been forgotten. He didn't work out at Liverpool, didn't work out at Chelsea, went to Bournemouth. A lot of people felt his level was the Championship and maybe a good run in the Premier League. But here he is, he's 2 goals behind, these chaps. And he's mixing it up with the big boys.
I think it's down to the coaching, because he has a really good coach now. Iraola is not a bad coach at all. and he worked with another coach the season before. So like he's just been building from there. I think he's really making a good claim to be part of the England squad in the Euros come the summer. I think if you have coaches like Iraola who can give you confidence, it plays a big part in what you do on the field. He seems like a very confident player this season.
Okay.
He's finishing in outrageous ways. He's not scared. He gets the ball and he wants to put it in the back of the net. And that's what you want from your striker. So I think he's just being rewarded with the confidence his coach is giving. They are giving him confidence and he's just paying the coach back with everything.
Yeah, let's talk about Solanke and that performance at Old Trafford. I mean, he may have scored only once, but he did give United a lot of headaches that day.
Yeah, he did. And it's the reason behind his success, that the setup Iraola puts his team in, it aids Solanke. I mean, you look at the previous coaches Bournemouth has had.
Gary
O'Neill, Eddie Howe. Yes, Eddie Howe. At the time Eddie Howe was present as manager of Bournemouth, Solanke was quite young. So you can tell that there was a bit of naivety about his game. But at the time Gary O'Neill came in, his style didn't support Solanke's game because he is a hard worker, but you need a bit of support and an aggressive approach from a game plan standpoint.
Yeah. And
you look at Iraola's style, he has his fullbacks consistently attacking and he presses high up the pitch. And it helps that you have an energetic guy like Antoine Semenyo to aid with the press. Yeah. So it's not all on Dominic Solanke. And they're able to win the ball closer to goal than before or in previous years. So once you are a striker and you have your guys, your teammates winning the ball consistently closer to goal, your chances of you having a higher quality, the chances of you having a higher quality of creating goal-scoring opportunities, high-quality goal-scoring chances, it improves. And it has aided in his numbers moving up this season. And so for me, it's all about the coaching and he adopting a better approach to scoring goals and growing as a striker and as a player.
We'll talk a bit about Haaland and Salah, and they are very peculiar circumstances. Haaland is injured, Salah is gone to the AFCON. Just a final word on Solanke. And Adam, you mentioned Euros. If you're Gareth Southgate, what should tip the scales in favor of Solanke? Is it the number of goals he scores? What do you think Gareth Southgate should look at and make a decision on, say, between Watkins and Solanke, because Harry Kane is England's starting number 9 anyway?
What player fits the style of play the best?
Okay.
Who do you take out of the team and bring into the team and can give you the same thing Harry Kane gives you? And I think Solanke does that much better than Oli Watkins. He's more of an all-rounder player as compared to Watkins. So if Southgate is looking at options for people who can take that spot when Harry Kane is not fit or if anything bad happens to him, I think he should be looking at Solanke.
I'll go with Watkins.
You go with Watkins?
I'll go with Watkins. And because he's the guy who's looking to run behind the back line, and he's quicker than Solanke, and I think he's more of a deadly finisher than Solanke, and he's more efficient with his chances.
But some of Solanke's finishes this season have been
very
diverse. Headers, tappings, shots.
They have been very good. They have been very good.
He's really been surprising this season.
He's been, and for me, I think you look at what Oli Watkins has to do. It's a bit more than Solanke at Bournemouth in terms of tracking defenders, tracking runs, in terms of holding that press. He does it a bit more in a bit more isolated fashion than Solanke. With Solanke, Bournemouth's approach is a bit
it's more organized. Yeah.
It's a bit of a whole team unit kind of thing. But with Aston Villa, they normally set up in a 4-4-1-1 system. Yeah. So it is more on Oli Watkins to do that press on his own, because normally the guy they play behind him is either Leon Bailey or Musa Diaby. And these guys, they are not noted for their work rate. So it's all on Oli Watkins. So he's covering a lot of ground.
Unai's team is very interesting also from a tactical perspective. Yeah. Of course, I get to they press differently. But But I also think they kind of press in almost their own brand of organized style.
Yeah, their brand of organized style, theirs is more mid-zone or the mid-block. But for AFC Bournemouth, theirs is a bit more frontal.
Okay.
And it all depends, the success of it depends on Oli Watkins, his work rate, his ability to cover a lot of ground,
But then you
and still have the patience and the awareness to be able to score all those goals.
But then you can argue that England are a team that will have the ball mostly, so they wouldn't really need to be putting too much pressure on opponents' defenses.
Of course.
Yeah, true.
In most cases.
In most cases.
Euros, yes.
Yeah, in most
Potentially.
cases.
But there will come a time where we've seen England struggle to get the ball behind the defensive back line and not necessarily have the best of days possessing the ball or outpossessing the opponent. And so in that situation, you need a bit more direct influence. And who better to run off Harry Kane than Oli Watkins?
I see.
Between Oli Watkins and Dominic Solanke, running off or playing off Harry Kane in counter-attack or transition situation.
I see.
I will definitely pick Oli Watkins.
Okay.
And at this point in time, I'll pick Dominic Solanke ahead of Rashford too. Yeah, because he's in the mix. He's in the mix.
Of course.
And exactly, he's in the mix. And so if I'm to pick one between 1, 2, 3, yes. Oli Watkins will be the number one.
So effectively, you're saying that
two.
between now
Yes, now.
and
As to
May.
stands
So,
now.
hold on. You're saying that between now and May, some players are playing for spots in the Euros.
Yes,
Definitely.
exactly. Because
And as things stand, Marcus Rashford is further
yeah,
down.
he's
He's
first
further
on the
down.
list. Because at this point in time, Raheem Sterling hasn't even been invited to the England
So
squad.
he's out of the equation.
No, he's making a comeback. He's making a strong appeal to come back into the team.
Okay, so at least in terms of the group, he's out.
He's out, but he's
But if you
forcing
count
his
from
way.
the bottom, is what? Rashford
It's Rashford.
and then Solanke.
Yes, Solanke.
And then Watkins for you.
For me.
Yeah.
Playing
And
as an alternate striker
Alternative.
to
Okay, Adam, so for
Harry
you,
Kane.
Rashford at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then who? Watkins second.
Watkins, then
Yeah,
And then
Solanke.
Solanke.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll see. Between now and May, we'll see who convinces Gareth Southgate to pick him as a foil for Harry Kane as the Euros come back. The Euros will be played in the middle of the year in Germany. So we'll have those Euro conversations a little later in the year when the focus shifts to that. Of course, you're still watching the Premier League preview show. You can send in your WhatsApp messages on the number on your screen, 020-444-7033, hashtag Citi Sports, and we'll go through as many of your comments as possible. Let's go through some things concerning December. Let's have a look at the saves of the month. Saves of the month. Who wins the award for the save of the month? All right. Okay, I think we can play the video now. I see some very interesting names, but let's see if we have the video. Then I'll ask the guys who they are picking in terms of the save of the month. This is, wow, brilliant save. That's Vicario of Tottenham Hotspur on Danny Welbeck. Very, very solid goalkeeper. I've been very impressed
One of
watching
the
him.
revelations
of the season.
All right, that's another one. Petrovic of Chelsea. Chelsea's number 2. This is Luton versus Chelsea, and he pulled that. Wow. Okay, that's a good one there. The third one, Pickford, Jordan Pickford, England number 1. Even though I still wonder why he's. I don't know.
But
I have my
who
own
would be
issue.
your pick? Who would be your pick?
I think if you ask me, I think if Nick Pope is fit, I think he should be England number 1. But that's a different.
But the thing is, Gareth Southgate wants to play out from the back, and Nick
Well,
Pope is
I can
terrible
say
with the
he's-
ball
yeah,
at his feet.
Anyway, the next one, Jordan Henderson. Not Jordan Henderson. He's a footballer. Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace at Manchester City.
Yeah.
Alisson Becker.
Yeah.
And I only discovered during the holidays that Alisson's middle name is Ramses.
Oh, Egyptian.
Yeah, that's a
okay.
brilliant save.
I'm sure he.
His parents must have loved Egyptian stories.
I'm sure Salah would definitely be close to him.
So, yes, Mike Fotheringham, Sheffield United goalkeeper, in the post there. I'm trying to get the team he was playing against. I'm not too sure. It was against Liverpool. So, Vicario there. So, that's contender number 1. I'll take your pick.
For me, no. It's a normal save.
This was straight, sir.
Straightforward.
I'll probably pick Alisson.
You pick Alisson's
Yeah.
save.
Alisson's save in real time, it's brilliant.
Okay,
It
so this is Petrovic.
This is Petrovic. I think I'll go with Dean Henderson's save. Alisson's save in real time is brilliant, but in slow motion, when you capture the moment the strike is taken, you can tell that there is a gaping hole. There's a gaping hole right next to Alisson in that goal where it is empty. But the striker decided to play it a little bit closer to Alisson and gave him the chance to make that save.
Yeah, but then after he even got his hand to it, he still didn't get
so this is, for me, this is the save.
So you feel that this
is the save of
Dean Henderson on Bernardo Silva.
For me, this is
brilliant curling shot by Bernardo Silva.
For me, this is the save of the month.
Talk about Bernardo Silva. I think that one of these days,
yes.
Oh, that's a good save.
And he quickly got out too. I'll go for Alisson.
So you pick Alisson?
Yes.
I see.
He quickly recovered, so that's all.
So you see, oh shoot, yes, there's a huge gap on the left side of the goal, and
on the goalkeeper's left.
Goalkeeper's left.
Yes. Because the goalkeeper is diving to his right, so which means on this other side.
On this other side.
Yeah.
And the striker played it a little bit closer to Alisson and gave him
on which
chance.
side?
So the ball is coming from Jordan Ayew this way.
Yeah.
And this side of the goal was empty because Alisson was recovering to that middle spot.
Yeah.
And the striker met the ball, and instead of just hitting it straight forward this way, which would have headed straight into the corner of the goal, he tried to curl it a little bit, and that curl took the ball a little bit closer to Alisson, and that gave Alisson the chance to just stretch his hand and make the save.
Yeah, but the save wasn't even convincing. He was quickly off his mark to deal with it, and that's the reason why I went for that goal.
Okay, so for you, the reaction.
Yeah, the reaction.
Yeah, true. But for me, it's all Dean Henderson.
Why?
Because
Why that?
the height of the ball, of that shot attempt, it puts him in a very difficult position.
Okay.
If it's on a little bit in mid-air, yes, you can make that save easily if you're a goalkeeper. But because it was heading towards the top corner, and there was a wicked curl on wicked spin on the ball, that made things a bit more complicated for Dean Henderson. And for him to stretch, and he got injured in the process.
Yeah.
Because the height, it was quite high, and he had to leap, give it his best leap, and he came down heavily, and that's how come he got injured. So for me, but that save on Bernardo Silva is the save of the month for me.
Okay, Adam, so you pick Alisson. You pick Dean Henderson.
Dean Henderson, yeah.
Anyway, interesting stuff. I'm just quite sad Bernardo Silva couldn't score. I think over time, Bernardo Silva has become one of my favorite players. I don't know why.
I think it's because of the intellectual approach to the game.
He's a fantastic player. And maybe one of these days, we'll talk about Bernardo Silva. I've heard people make the claim. It may sound
that
absurd.
He's the best
Some people
player.
argue. I've heard this argument, and the person says that he's the best player in the league. And listening to the argument, I really don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah. people don't see how good he is because his numbers don't reflect it. Like, he doesn't have the goals and assists.
That's why I don't believe in statistics wholly.
No,
that's a personal mantra. That's why I don't believe in statistics
fine.
wholly.
No, but one day we can have this discussion about statistics, whatever. But anyway, this is the Premier League preview show on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Call. My guests, Kelvin Edemkai and Ayew Minta, both of the Citi Sports Desk. We'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we have a lot more to discuss. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. This is the Premier League preview show on Citi TV, the very first episode of 2024. It sounds so good to say the new year, 2024. My guests are still here. Kelvin Edemkai and Ayew Minta are here. All right, let's move on from the goalkeepers to the outfield players. Let's see who the nominees are for Player of the Month of December 2023. Okay, we'll get to the player, but let's do Goal of the Month first. So there are 8 contenders. I see 2 Liverpool players, 1 Sheffield player, 1 Arsenal player, 2 Brighton players, 1 Chelsea player, and a Fulham FC. All right, let's have a look at the goals, and then we pick from that. There you have it. This one is Arsenal. Once the cutback comes in,
that's a team
it is
goal.
Martin.
Team goal.
Yeah.
I think he's a master of scoring the cutback.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. Scored one against Man United earlier this season. So this is Cole Palmer. Oh,
That's composure.
Yeah.
That's composure.
Yeah.
That's composure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Brilliant stuff.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That's
it's cool.
composure.
It's cool. We are cool. Oh, brilliant. Pervis Estupiñán.
The best left fullback in the Premier League. For me, he's the best left fullback. Rico Henry is second, but unfortunately he's injured. Rico Henry of Brentford.
All right, so there you have it. Banger.
Whoa, that's a great header.
Daniel Welbeck, they're scoring that header against Palace. Now, these two teams have a very funny rivalry, Brighton and Palace, so it was nice to see him score. And Harry Wilson, typical Harry Wilson, scoring against West Ham there. Left-footed, touch it, brilliant, banger. It's at the back of the net.
That's the same kind of goal Dean Henderson prevented.
Yeah. So this is McAtee, another left-footed
Did they take
strike.
a deflection? Nope.
No, left the goalkeeper absolutely befuddled there. And you have Wataru Endo versus Fulham. This when Liverpool did the comeback to win that game by 4-3. Mo Salah setting it up there. Showing that the two players have all gone to their account.
This is the goal of the month for me.
Alexis McAllister from that same game.
Yeah, for me, that's the goal of the month for me.
Okay?
To be able to hit it that cleanly, the technique involved, the degree of difficulty to get that on target and plant it in the corner of the net.
But
for me, that's the goal of the month.
Was the work not done a little? Because the ball is slightly on a bounce.
Yes.
So he,
And that makes it difficult because it's on the bounce. It's in mid-air.
And he still has to.
Yes.
And I can understand him because he didn't take a second touch.
Yeah.
He's focusing on the ball through
On
and
the
through,
ball throughout.
and he's
So-
taking his shots.
And then
Yes.
His application was just on point. And to be able to direct that ball away from the goalkeeper to the corner of the net, the top corner of the net.
I see.
Yeah, from that range or from that distance.
So that's your vote for goal of the month.
tournament.
Eden.
Goal of the month.
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer. That was ice cold. That was ice cold. After the ball got to him, he still had a lot to do. There were defenders in the mix. Took his time, took another touch, and the foot he even finished with in the end wasn't even his favorite foot. It was just class, like ice cold finish.
Again, go back to the Euro argument. Do you think that Cole Palmer is also making a case, if he keeps going like this,
Yeah.
do you think he would have made a case
Yeah.
to be taken along?
Yeah, but not ahead of Phil Foden. So, So, who do you drop?
I mean, of course, he won't be the first name
Yeah.
Guy Southgate thinks about. But for example, do you think Southgate should look at him and say, okay, a player I take along for experience, or a player who he can have and say, let me throw him in and see?
For experience, yes. But to throw him in there or to pick him ahead of, let's say, because Phil Foden's position is, for me, I think is
Cole
already
has
long.
played 16 games, has 8 goals and 4 assists. That's not strong enough.
I won't say to pick him ahead of people, but I think he's somebody Southgate should have just in case anything goes wrong.
In case of injury or
because he's been really doing well to leave City at the time he was leaving City, because Mahrez had left and there was literally an opening in the team for him, and to be confident enough in his ability to leave City, go to London, and he's doing what he's doing in the Chelsea team. I think he's somebody Southgate should be looking at, because he's shown that like the nerves don't get to him when he's at the big stage. A club like Chelsea, to go there and to want to take up the mantle of responsibility, and he's manning it well. So I think Southgate should.
I think he might just sneak in, because I'm looking at the left-footed options for Gareth Southgate, and I think aside from Foden, no prominent name comes to mind.
Yeah,
Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo Saka, brilliant.
But
Bukayo Saka.
when you look at Foden and Palmer and Saka, are they?
No, they are different.
In my mind, I think they are 3 different
They are
types
3
of players.
different type of players, and Cole Palmer is the closest thing to Phil Foden, because he can play through the middle, he can play on the wings, and he can also play on the left side, traditional left winger. And Phil Foden does all that. And
I mean, Foden's got 19 games, 5 goals, 6 assists.
that's the thing. The statistics.
They may not argue for a player, but
For a
like
player,
you say,
but
like
you
the
look
eye
at-
test.
Yeah, exactly. And the context of the context in which Cole Palmer operates in is very different from the context Phil Foden operates
I
in.
see.
And Phil Foden's production what he does, not necessarily statistics-wise, it takes an intelligent player, a player of a kind, to be able to work in that Pep Guardiola system.
Okay.
And Cole Palmer had his chance to break into the Pep Guardiola system at an early age, just like Phil Foden, but he couldn't. But Phil Foden did.
Right.
And so for me, Bukayo Saka is your first choice winger, but your joker card is Phil Foden at this point, and he gets in ahead of Cole Palmer. So if he wants to take him along for experience sake, fine.
That's fine.
But in terms of impact, I don't see him getting ahead of these two guys.
Adam, that's quick thoughts.
I think he's someone they should look at carrying along because he can be helpful. Because of the way he's been able to take up responsibility. And those tournaments, you need players who don't shy away from responsibility. There was a game Chelsea played in, there was a squabble about who should take the penalty, and he just asked for the ball. That's confidence.
With Man City.
Yeah, he just asked for the ball.
A lot of nerve.
Yeah, that's a lot of nerve. He took the ball, went, scored the goal. So he's somebody I think Southgate should really have in mind to take to the tournament.
All right, we'll see. The only thing I will say, though, about Foden and Palmer is that it's quite fascinating to see England of all countries have players like that. Yeah. It just tells you that if you can put your mind to it and work, you can find some of these talents. Because when I look at Cole Palmer, and especially Phil Foden, they don't look like English players to me.
Same as Jack Wilshere. Unfortunately, his
somebody will say, but football is evolving. But still, I look at them and they could easily fit in a Spanish team.
Yeah. Yes, they can.
Yeah. And they'll feel very comfortable.
Yes, they can. I think it's just down to the attention to detail that teams are paying to youth football. That, yes, you can have a player who wouldn't necessarily fit in the traditional mood of the country. Every country has a football culture. Yeah. But you would always want to find that X factor that they bring. And I think now England is paying a bit more attention to finding those players to complement what they have per their football culture.
All right, let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the manager of the month of December. Behind the goals, behind the players, whatever, they are the managers who make it happen. And there they are: Unai Emery, Andoni Raiola, Jurgen Klopp, and David Moyes. Guys, quickly, who would you vote for?
This is a difficult one.
Who would you vote for?
Bournemouth beat Man United away from home.
Yeah. Then they won a subsequent game.
They didn't lose.
Games,
but West Ham beat Arsenal and beat Man United.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the dicey bit for me. So for me, Klopp is out of the picture. Emery has done well, but yeah,
So you vote for who? Raiola?
I think I'll go for Raiola. Yeah. I'll go for Raiola.
Emery.
Emery
is close to the title this season, and I don't think anybody expected Aston Villa to be at.
But West Ham was the best team in December.
Yes, West Ham was the best team in December. But at the end of the day, you look at who are you working with.
Okay.
You are working with one of the most informed players in the Premier League in Kudus Mohamed. You are working with another informed player in the Premier League in Jared Bowen. And he's another option.
And Mo Kudus.
Exactly. So he's another option for Gary Southgate. I don't see Cole Palmer getting ahead of him. I even forgot about him. So
he scored 11.
He scored at least 10 goals. I know for sure he scored 10 goals in the Premier League this season. And
11 and 2.
Yes.
11 and 2 assists.
Yeah. So for me, once you have these two informed players playing for West Ham with Edson Alvarez also contributing, Souček, I think you have more on the plate to get you wins than Raiola. Raiola is just Dominic Solanke. So the others are just doing well. So for me, Raiola.
Emery.
Unai Emery. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the Christmas champions. Now, getting into the new year, Liverpool, they stayed on top of the table. They managed to hold off a lot of competition, and that's that. But in terms of December, it was West Ham. West Ham were the Christmas winners in terms of the December stretch. Yep. They won 3 and drew 1. Yep. Very interesting goalless draw with Brighton. But in that spell, they beat Man United 2-0, beat Arsenal 2-0.
And they beat Wolves.
As well. I saw 2 of the 3 games. The one against United for obvious reasons, not against Arsenal. I watched the Arsenal game. I was very impressed at how well they kept Arsenal at bay, you know. And do you think that finally West Ham they are getting to like fulfill their potential as a team?
they are slowly getting there. And Moyes has been fantastic with what he's doing with the club. And I think another reason they are doing so well is how well they manage games. They don't give too much away when they are in games. They know when to sit back, know when to hit you on the counter, know when they don't have to waste their energy and just conserve themselves and attack you when they need to. And they are slowly like getting there. They won the Conference League. They won their group in the Europa League. They are slowly building towards that. They are a team that I should see being in Europe consistently from now on. That should be their aim. They should be a team that should be looking at, at the end of the season, I should be at least in a Europa League or Conference League position. And I think slowly they are getting there.
All right. The other headline.
Just a quick one. I think that will be contingent on their ability to stay consistent in terms of their player recruitment. Because you look at Declan Rice came in, he left, they brought in Edson Alvarez.
To be fair, they got it right in the last window.
Yes.
To be fair to them.
They shipped him off and they brought in Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse. And on top of that, they added Mohamed Kudus and Paqueta. So Paqueta came in a couple of off seasons ago. And so you look at the vultures are circling around. They are definitely circling. And Man City was interested in Paqueta. Per what Mohamed Kudus has done. If he repeats it the next season, he's definitely a goner. So who do you bring in? So that's what...
I don't even think he will last the summer.
I
personally don't think he will last the summer.
If he continues like this,
I think he'll be snapped.
At the end of the season, if he scores like 12 league goals and provides like 5-6 assists, he might just end up getting bought by maybe a Tottenham Hotspur or maybe a Man United. And
finally,
so that's 100 million.
Rectify the Anthony error.
Yes, rectify the Anthony error. And so, yes, once you lose these players, who do you bring in to sustain that run? And that's what West Ham's chances of continuing this run will depend on.
All right, the other big story from December has to do with Arsenal. Now, let's have a look at that December table. And I'll use that to make my point and ask the guys their thoughts. Now, Arsenal, if you look at that table, they were fourth in terms of the December fixtures, right? But if you looked at the form guide, they were 13th rather. You can see them there. 13th in that form table. They won only one game and lost 3.
They lost 2 and I think
they lost 2, drew 1, won 1.
Yes.
Now, the question is, have they blown their chance? Is it too early?
Oh, for me, they've blown their chance because the thing is, for me, right from the start, it was Man City's to lose. Right from the get-go, it was Man City's league to lose. And the closest contenders were, the closest contender was Arsenal. I didn't see Liverpool strongly contending like this because of the issues of depth in terms of their central defense. But to lose ground the way Arsenal did at this pivotal time, that's why I always say timing is everything. The timing of their losses or their drop in form, it doesn't serve them well. And that's where I see Man City taking the charge and holding on to it and going ahead to win the league. Because at this point in time, it's lining up for them. Players are coming back from injury. Their schedule looks good. And the confidence is back. You can clearly tell that the confidence is back. And you don't normally see and hear Pep Guardiola come out and say, yes, I'm going to win the league in that very boisterous manner. And once you have him come out the way he has come out, then it tells you that he knows the kind of quality that he possesses and the kind of trust that he has in these boys to be able to get the job done.
His man is coming back. De Bruyne is coming back.
Yeah,
so
he's back.
excited.
And the thing is, the last thing you want is a boisterous Pep Guardiola. Even when he's modest, look at what he's done so far. And now you have him being boisterous. So I think for me, it's curtains.
Let's have a look at the league table and let's see where Arsenal are. They're just 2 points off. I mean, they're just 3 points. The full league table at Liverpool, they're just 3 points off Liverpool. So how could they have blown it?
The margins are fine. So
It's a 50-50 thing for me.
Okay, no, hold on. I think Arsenal have 5 points. Okay, 40, they have 5 points.
I think
5 points off Liverpool.
I think it depends on what they do in January. Gary Abonaho was speaking on TalkSport, and he mentioned that he thinks Arsenal should go in and get Ivan Toney, or like a goal scoring striker. I think that's one of the things that can tip the scale for them and change the season for them. Because there are a lot of games that Arsenal could have killed, and I feel like they don't have that gunman in front of goal. They don't have that lethal presence. I mean, they have people who
the gunners without a gun.
they have people who give them goals. Gabriel he chips in, Martinelli chips in, Saka chips in, but they need somebody who they can bet on for about 20 goals in a season. And I think if they do good business in January, that can change the fortune of their season.
Arsenal won't win the league because they have a goalkeeper whose strongest point isn't necessarily keeping clean sheets or
But
keeping
they've kept a good number of clean sheets this season.
but it's not necessarily because of David Raya's performance. His strongest point is playing out from the back, organizing the defense, communicating and all that. You have a left full back whose strongest point is in defending, and you have a striker whose strongest part of his game is not scoring goals in Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, for me that's a that's a formula for not winning the league.
Okay, let's move on to the team that's currently top. Liverpool, they ended 2023 on a very, very good note. Started 2024 actually beating Newcastle in that very exciting game. For the lovers of statistics and expected goals, probably one of the most interesting games you ever come across in that game there. But can Liverpool stay top? Adam, can they stay on top to the end?
If they can sort out their defensive problems. They've been winning games. They've really surprised me this season. I didn't expect them to be here at this point, but they've been doing something that is reminiscent of Liverpool teams of old. They win games even when they are not playing well. Like they have been very close games for them this season. Trent's pulling out some last-minute winners, and they've been getting them over the line. If they can get at least a centre-back, I feel like the season is going to be determined by who does the best business in January outside Citi, because I think Citi don't need to do any more business. They have their team set for them. But the team who's playing around Citi and can do their business well in January can just challenge them, because City's coming. I think a run is coming soon enough, and somebody will have to do something about it. So if you get your business right in January, I think you might be that guy.
Liverpool won't have Salah. We don't know for how long. It depends on how far Egypt go in the AFCON. Do they have what it takes to still win games, blow teams away, and still be in that position, even without Mohamed Salah, for 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, I think they can, because of the depth in quality that they have in the front line. Because you have Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, and Diogo Jota in there. Yeah, that's quality, and it makes things a bit more simpler, or a bit more simple for Jurgen Klopp in terms of selection. Because once you have Salah in there, then it means you have just 2 slots available for as many as 4 players. And so with Salah out of the mix, you can play players in a bit more of a traditional style, and have Diogo Jota operate as a wing forward, the way he does, or as a support striker as he does best. You can have Cody Gakpo play from the left side as an inside forward, which is the best part of his game, or strongest part of his game. Then you can have Darwin Núñez operate centrally consistently over a consistent run of games, rather than have him move out of the way for Cody Gakpo, come off the bench, those kind of things. So for me, I think they have enough quality to be able to sustain this run and stay on top. But I don't think they will be able to do it till the end of the season, because they can't consistently keep on conceding first and reacting before they get wins. I don't think that is sustainable enough, and that's what makes me believe that they can't stay on top till the end of the season, and might just end up losing the lead to Man City the way they did a couple of seasons ago by a point or 2. Okay,
all right. Talking about Mo Salah and African players and all of that, Mohamed Kudus, our very good friend Mohamed Kudus, he's in the mix for Player of the Month. I think let's have a look at I think we can have a look at the nominees for Player of the Month. He's in there with some other gentlemen there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Matheus Cunha, Mo Kudus, like we mentioned. Michael Olise, who seems to be a subject of interest per reports from Manchester United. I don't know. Well, you've got Cole Palmer, you've got Senesi of Bournemouth, Dominic Solanke, and Son Heung-min. Can Mohamed Kudus beat these guys?
No.
You think he can?
It's a popularity contest, and unfortunately,
he's not the most popular.
No, I wouldn't say he's not the most popular, but unfortunately, look at the contenders. Last month, the contenders were far, far weaker than this group of contenders. And that's how come you had Harry Maguire winning it. But this time around...
Why are you spitting on Maguire?
It's fact. I mean, like, it's fact.
That's Capito's.
I mean, sympathy votes got him now. But the point is, you look at this group of nominees, I mean, it's a very strong group. And it's a popularity contest too. I mean, you don't have a lot of West Ham fans compared to Liverpool fans and Chelsea fans. So that's how come I think Mohamed Kudus will miss out, because the group is deep. The group of contenders or nominees is deep. And the fact that it's a popularity contest, and West Ham will miss out on that end to Chelsea and Liverpool. So I'm tipping Cole Palmer to win.
But then that's based on voting per what they did in the month. I think Kudus scored important goals. Yeah, but
it's a fan award. I mean, fans will have to vote. So you don't think that fans of other teams may vote for Kudus?
It's possible. I think he's one that's like loved at the moment in England. People are falling in love with him. I heard a West Ham fan say that he hopes Ghana leave there so that Kudus can come back. So I think he's picking up steam there. People are falling in love with the way he plays his football. So I think he can pull some votes.
I think Cole Palmer takes it.
Cole Palmer. All right. Let's wrap it up with some FA Cup news. And Arsenal and Liverpool, they played the biggest game of the round at the Emirates. The two teams meet at the Emirates. In years past, they've sold us some very interesting FA Cup ties. I remember there was a particular one at Anfield that Arsenal won. There was a particular time where they played a lot. So I think they met in the league, met in the League Cup, met in the FA Cup. Julio Baptista scoring. I remember that. So, guys, the managers will certainly change the squads a bit. So who do you think wins? Adam, who do you think wins this one? Who needs it more?
Arsenal need it more. With the way their season is going, they definitely need it more. I think they will probably field the stronger side, because if you look at depth in their squad, I think they don't have as much depth as Liverpool. I think Liverpool have more players to go around some important positions. But then Arsenal should want this game more than Liverpool, because it's a game, I think, if they win, it can give them confidence to kind of change how their season is going and how their December has gone. So I'm expecting an exciting game, but I think Arsenal are the team who probably want it more.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal will want it more, but at the end of the day, it's all about getting the job done. And I think between the two, I'll lean more towards Liverpool. They can get the job done. And as Adam said in his earlier submission, that they've shown this season that they don't need to play well to get a win. And in such a game, which is sure to be scrappy, but fun and exciting, with a lot of chances being created, I'll definitely lean towards Liverpool being able to get a win.
So of the two, Adam, you mentioned that you feel Arsenal will play a stronger side. We'll see a lot more of their regulars. Yeah, for Liverpool, in your mind, what kind of team should Klopp play?
What kind of team should Klopp play? A settled squad, practically, minus Mohamed Salah. That's pretty much it. A settled squad. You
feel that there's a test? It's a good opportunity to test the team without Salah.
Yes, to test the team without Salah. And the point is, ideally, for a game like this, Gravenberch would ideally start, because if all things were equal, had all things been equal, McAllister would have played a lot of games, and at this point in time, this game would be intense, and you would want to start him off the bench, because you need your guys to be at optimal energy, to have the optimal energy levels. And Gravenberch would have been the best choice to start. But looking at the fact that McAllister went off due to injury and all that, I think he's the one who will start ahead of Gravenberch alongside Endo. And thinking about it,
I think Endo's gone. I think Endo has not gone
to the Asian Cup. So I think Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch will start, and with Gravenberch being the one to do the proper true defensive responsibilities, because Soboslai, yeah, he's not built like that. And you look at McAllister, he has put in a good shift, but it hasn't been the best of performances as a DM.
So I think the word that's coming in is that I think Soboslai is not featuring. Klopp says he's out.
Yeah, but I think he had a hamstring injury. So
Plus he needs rest.
yeah.
Plus he needs rest.
So then Javier to play on the right side. Then you have McAllister, then Grafenberg in the middle.
Okay.
Which is not too obscure a midfield.
Okay. Just finally, Adam, from an Arsenal perspective, if we've seen them perform in December, it wasn't really good. 2 losses, 1 win and a draw. Are there any players who need to take advantage of this game to make an argument and tell Mikel Arteta that we still need to be in the starting 11? Are there players who need to redeem themselves?
In case he has one of them.
Okay.
He's somebody, if he gets a run out somewhere in the FA Cup, he should take that opportunity and do all of this, because Arsenal need that kind of player who will lead the line. I mentioned earlier, they've been scoring goals, but they don't have somebody who they can bank on for goals consistently. And somebody has to step up and take that mantle. And it's a perfect game. It's the FA Cup. There's no third round, not too much pressure. Just go in and show you can be that guy.
So for Eddie Nketiah.
Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, same question for you from a Liverpool perspective. Which player needs this game to make an argument?
To make an argument, I don't think he needs this game. I think the candidates, I don't think they need this game, because they've already shown that when given the chance, they can really perform. And that's Curtis Jones and Javier Elliott. And looking at the absences of Wataru Endo and Soboslai due to injury and because of the Asian Cup, yeah, I think they will have their fair shot. So for me, I don't think Liverpool have such a problem.
Okay, all right, we'll see how it goes. Arsenal's top scorer is Bukayo Saka. He's got 6. Imagine, only 6 at this point of the season. Maybe he will need a few more goals to get himself going. But that's how I wrap it up on today's edition of the Premier League Preview Show. Let me thank my guests here, Jay Minter and Kelvin Edem Kai, both of the Citi Sports Desk. My name is Nathan Kwao. Many thanks for watching. Many thanks to the production team, director, light, sound, floor, everybody who made it possible. We'll catch you next Friday with another exciting episode of the Premier League Preview Show. Until then, take care and Happy New Year once again.